is Jay Lethal, the Blank Machismo, and whoa, the Nature Boy, and you're listening to the Potsy and Tino Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Tino has gone batshit crazy. Our theme song, as always, is brought to you by Adam's House Cat. It's called The Wrestling Song. It's available on iTunes for 99 cents. And tonight, we appreciate you actually coming and watching us, considering it is the National Football National Championship.
Oh, forgot about that.
Yeah, the College Football National Championship is happening tonight. It's Alabama versus Ohio State. Who you got, Tino?
I don't like either one, so Alabama.
Damn it.
You got Ohio State.
No, I hate Ohio State. But Alabama beat my team. I'm wearing the shirt tonight. But Alabama beat my team. And yeah. So anyways, Tino, since last week, what's up with you?
Not much, but the biggest thing, I had a show in Clayton at Cork and Untapped last Saturday from 2 to 5. That was fun. And then the Fam Jam came home Saturday night. So
Fam Jam.
No longer here by myself. All by myself.
So you're no longer all by yourself.
Nah, no more. So, which is good. I'm glad they're home. I missed them. And that's about it. Nothing really exciting until till Wednesday, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Wait, there's something exciting?
Yeah.
All right.
You're part of it too. You commented on it on Facebook. We'll get to it.
Did I?
Y'all.
I must have forgotten about it already. But
not to forget about storming the Capitol.
But Tino, want to go ahead and say that I've got some stuff going on.
What you got? What's up with you?
I got some stuff that's up with me. All right, so for all of those out there, let's go ahead and thank anybody who is watching us on YouTube tonight. Unfortunately, we are not on Facebook. We're not on Twitch. We're just on YouTube. And the reason why is because, well, Roy Cooper.
Koopa Poopa.
The Koopa Poopa.
Poopa.
I'm going to continue to blame Roy Cooper.
It's not a tumor.
Until Tino gets one of these nice lights that like brightens the entire thing, so he doesn't look like he's in the witness protection program.
I'm not a pooper.
But but if you're in the chat, don't be shy. Say hi. Hopefully, StreamYard will actually give us the chat like it's supposed to. But Tino, I have some stuff going on.
What you got going on, my friend?
So starting tomorrow,
that'd be the 12th, January 12th.
January 12th, 2021. So 1/12/21. Rob Potsy Pochak has his first article at Mainframe Comic Con.
What?
.com. Yes.
So what you got going on?
What's that now?
So what is that? So what does that mean for you?
So I wrote this article that speaks on my opinions of the Drew McIntyre versus Bill Goldberg match at the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not into it. So I'm going to tell you why I'm not into it. Because bringing back Bill Goldberg during Legends Night is perfectly fine. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a legend, right? So why would I have a problem with him coming back on Legends Night? Tino, I have a problem with him coming back on Legends Night because he comes back to say that Drew McIntyre hasn't shown any of the legends respect. Now, why do I have a problem with that?
I don't know, Rob.
Seriously?
Because he has shown the legends respect. I mean, he's
a baby face. All he's done is shown respect.
So are they trying to pull Goldberg back as a heel?
I don't think they are, but I think that Goldberg coming back, sitting there saying, "You don't respect the legends, brother, and you don't understand what we all went through," considering earlier in the night, Drew McIntyre sitting there saying, "What you gonna do, brother?" with Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Really doesn't match up. Like that shows the problem with Monday Night Raw recently, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But because the whole idea that Monday Night Raw is being booked on the fly, similar to Monday Nitro back in the day, really seems to be apparent considering they had the moment where Ric Flair's getting matronized by his daughter, and then immediately after you see Ric Flair smiling and laughing, talking to Sergeant Slaughter, or not Sergeant Slaughter, but IRS and another legend, right? So like it was a hodgepodge of bullshit.
Right.
So my first article for Mainframe Comic-Con is all about how messed up the idea of Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg for the World Championship at the Royal Rumble actually is, considering if they had actually posted Goldberg versus or Goldberg just entering the Royal Rumble.
Hey. Drive by.
Nicole, if you're going to come in here, you better drop an Oxford comma.
Get out.
No, she doesn't have to get out. She just has to make sure she drops an Oxford comma.
You see, she dropped it,
baby.
Sorry, she's standing there like, "Can I say hi? Can I say hi?"
Put her next to you and sit her down and let's talk about this.
Her and the kids are out there watching Harry Potter because they know I won't. So,
but seriously, like, do you understand my problem with that?
I don't like it because they keep bringing in older guys when they've got this fresh new talent that they've got 3 hours worth of show that they don't use this other talent that could be pushed up to the main event to rub, get the rub off the Drew. You know what I mean? That's my problem. They keep bringing in the Brock Lesnar's back. I love The Rock, but they bring him back. They bring Cena back. Why don't they use some of these younger guys who are hungry and up and coming and give them a push instead of?
Well, remember when Cena came back, he gave Bray Wyatt the rub.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what the older guys are supposed to do. To your point though, Goldberg came back and said, "You're not respecting the legends." And then he challenged Drew McIntyre for the championship when all Drew McIntyre has done since he came and became the WWE champion has tried to go against the legend killer who took down all of the WWE legends. So when Goldberg sits there and says that McIntyre is not respecting the legends, he's not watching the damn program.
This is true.
And that's a problem to me. Like, that is a serious problem to me. Like,
I don't think so much he's not watching the program. I think it's the writers aren't watching the program.
except they're paid to write the program. Sorry, I sound like Bill Cosby, and I apologize for that. My point is this, though, and you're absolutely right, Tino, is that the writers aren't paying attention to their own shit that they've already written. And let's recall that Bill Goldberg, his contract is for how many matches a year?
Like one? Is it one or two? 2 matches a year.
2 matches a year, okay? So let me ask you something. If you're sitting there trying to sell the Royal Rumble, right? And I just want to, we're not gonna sit there and say, okay, we're WWE, blah blah blah, whatever. We already know there's somebody in the WWE that watches our show. They watch it every week, because every time we sit there and say something, like last week, I sat there and said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if the NXT opener and main event were commercial free? And all of a sudden last week during New Year's Evil, guess what, Tino? They were commercial free. Not sitting there picture in picture bullshit. None of that garbage. They were legitimately commercial free. So somebody out there is watching our show. Now, granted, we only get 12 views, so we could probably get YouTube to figure out which one of those 12 views is the WWE guys. But I'm going to tell you right now, straight up, one of them's watching us. They understand we know their business better than they do. And last week, at least when it came to, what did you say?
Why don't they give us jobs?
Well, we'll get there.
Okay.
You don't want to be fired by WWE within 6 months.
No, I don't want to be future endeavored.
Yeah, exactly. No, you don't want any of that. You want to sit there and be able to express what they should be doing, so that when they actually start doing exactly what you say, you can say, hey, take a look at our episode 2 weeks ago when we sat there and said they should start showing their main event without commercials. And then you get to say, we were the only show to say that. You remember our first episode,
We don't get monetized.
Do you remember our first episode, though?
Mm-hmm.
Our very first episode, I sat there and said Seth Rollins should attack Triple H at NXT TakeOver, leading into what will be the Seth Rollins versus Triple H match at WrestleMania. That was our first episode. We knew, you and me, brother, you and me knew that WWE was so in tune with what we were talking about that they watched our very first episode.
I just want credit. Give credit where credit is due.
Well, I'm going to tell you how that's going to happen.
Huh?
I'm going to tell you how that's going to happen going forward. You ready? I now am writing, hopefully, a weekly article with mainframecomiccon.com. This week's article will go up tomorrow. So anybody and everybody that has the ability to watch or go to the website, mainframecomiccon.com, will be able to read my first article about Drew McIntyre versus Bill Goldberg and why it doesn't make sense. Now, I wrote this article a couple days ago.
Right.
And it'll go up tomorrow, which means it will seem like it's a little outdated because, Tino, did you get the message today?
Yes, I got the message today, and you messaged me, and I was at work, and I couldn't respond to your text. But looks like Mr. Carino's working overtime, and he is in WWE, and he has attacked the champion, Drew McIntyre.
Steve Corino has attacked the WWE champion, folks. He has made it impossible for Drew McIntyre to explain whether or not he's going to accept the challenge from Goldberg.
But he's supposedly going to address everybody via video, I think. That's what I thought.
And it's very possible that he will. I don't know. I haven't watched anything from WWE.com.
But in reality, if it's for Royal Rumble and he does have the Crino, he has to be quarantined 10 to 14 days. He could be out. He could be out in time for the Rumble.
Yeah, and it's very possible that Drew McIntyre also is not showing symptoms. So the idea, if he is asymptomatic, would be that, yes, he would be back in time for January 31st for that. But I really want to point out the fact that I just don't understand why WWE felt they didn't have anybody strong enough to go against Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble, so they're bringing Goldberg back to face him at the Royal Rumble. Now, Tino, I already said Goldberg has the ability to work this many matches, right?
Right.
So even if he were to win against Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, which none of us want, or at Royal Rumble, we don't want to see that, right? But even if he did, that means he has to lose at WrestleMania. Unless WWE goes, hey, Bill, we're going to give you $4 million more to work one more match this year, right? No. They've been known to do it. Look at Brock Lesnar when all of a sudden he held the title at WrestleMania, but then lost it at Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah.
Like, so there is a possibility of doing that sort of thing. The big problem with it, though, is that we don't buy it. We're not buying into that garbage. We don't really think that's what should happen here. Am I right?
Right.
So, but anyways, starting tomorrow on mainframecomiccon.com, I will have my first article up there. It's called The Gorilla Position. Which
Gorilla Position. I did see that on our Facebook on the page.
Such a great name was given to me by our friend Chad from the Comic Corps. But would you look at that?
What's that?
Mr. Helios is in the chat. What's up, Mr. Helios?
He's actually on time, sort of.
Well, sort of, yeah. And he said, congrats, Rob, for I guess, being part of that. I also want to point out, Tino, that I got something else going on.
What's that?
Junior High Horror's Strangest Thingies will be in comic stores, hopefully no later than the second week of February.
Awesome.
And as you know, it's already one of the best-selling Junior High Horrors books that's coming out. But let me point out that we decided to go one step further, my friend, one step further, and give anybody who buys the book a pull-out poster on the inside of the book so you can hang it up in your bedrooms. I know Tino will be hanging it up in his bedroom.
Well, Matthew will be.
You better be too.
Yeah, right. But Nicole, I'm gonna put it right here above the bed.
And she'll be like, oh no, the hell you won't. But we wanted to do something special. We wanted to do something extra. And it was already, like I said, it was already one of the better selling Junior High Horrors books in recent history. So it's a pull-out poster of Eric's cover, the main cover for Junior High Horror's Strangest Things. And I'm blown away by it. When I saw the proof and everything, being the editor of the book, I immediately sent the publisher a message that said, oh, you decided to put a pull-out poster in it. That's awesome. And he's like, cool. He's like, yeah, you didn't give me enough pages. So I gave you a free poster, and I was like, you son of a bitch.
You were short pages?
No, we weren't short pages. So a regular comic book is 20 pages, right?
Right.
So because of the cost of junior high horrors being $5.99 a book, I put 6 extra pages into the book. And he was like, oh, because you put 6 extra pages into it, I needed to figure out how to fill in those extra pages.
Oh.
Because it's got to be at least 28 pages to fill in the rest of the book, right? Like, because you got to do it by 4s.
Right.
So he sat there and he was like, you know what? Okay, I see what you did. You added 6 extra pages. We're just going to add 6 more pages to it. And there's going to be a pull-out poster and 2 pages of advertising. And I'm like, I'm cool with that. Whatever.
But hey.
So anybody who buys Junior High Horror Strangest Thingies is going to get a full-sized, which is 2 pages worth, full-size poster of the main issue cover, which is just awesome to me. I thought it was cool.
That's awesome. That's all. That is cool.
Yeah.
And now, will they be able to get that poster autographed at any point in time?
Anytime they meet me.
Anytime they meet you. All right.
Without a doubt, and I'll say this right now, for anybody who sits there and says, I saw you on the Potsy and Tino show say this. Okay? And I'm not even going to say that you have to say, it was on the January 11th, 2021 episode of the Potsy and Tino show. I'm just going to say that you have to say, on the Potsy and Tino show, I saw you say you would sign my poster or my copy of Junior High Horror Strangest Thingies for free. Tell you what, I will sign it for free, and I'll even draw a little JV on your book. Okay? So
Nice.
anybody who watches this video, there's that for you.
How many people are watching that?
Right now it just says 1, but you know, like the whole point is to get more people to watch the videos and actually like, you know, like they don't have to watch it live. I'm not saying they have to watch it right now. I'm saying they just have to watch it
okay.
and say that they saw the video, saw me, and wanted me to sign their book. And I'll even draw a little JV on the book for them.
Look at you.
I think it's fair, man. Like all these people, like nowadays at comic book conventions and stuff, people sit there and charge $25 to $50 for a signature, or they force you to buy like $100 drawing of theirs, and like I'm not about that. Like if somebody on this show were to sit there and say, and Terrence says it's me, if someone on this show were to sit there and say, Rob, is there any way that you can draw your Junior High Horrors characters for me? Yes. In most cases, I am going to sit there and charge them my normal drawing rate. But my normal drawing rate's like, okay, it cost me this much to buy the pad of paper, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like someone sits there and says, hey, Rob, can you draw? Like before this episode tonight, Tino, the reason why we started 30 minutes late is because I saw my buddy Daryl, who I hadn't seen probably in 8 years. But he showed up at the place that I was sitting at, and I sat there and I said, I'm going to sit here and hang out with him because I hadn't seen him in like 8 years, right? And he sits there and he goes, he's with his girlfriend, and he's like, do you realize that this guy's the guy that created X Liefelds? And I'm not kidding. He actually brought up that specific title that I read. Like if someone sits there and says, hey, this is the guy that created Immortal. Cool. I get it, right? Hey, this is the guy that created Junior High Horrors. Cool. I get it. When he sat there and said, This is the guy that created X Liefelds. That was a one and done comic because my publisher would not let me write the second one, afraid I'd get sued. Right?
Right. And
But
she knew what it was.
What's that now?
And she knew what X Liefelds was.
Well, because he sat there and said, you see this tattoo and everything else? That's how much I know about Liefeld. And this guy is the guy that wrote X Liefelds. And because of that, like, blah, 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 you know, like, and just kept going on with the story. And I was like, awesome. But, you know, when we talk about all that stuff, I kind of forgot what I was talking about. No, I'm kidding. Oh. But when we talk about that stuff, it's like, it's just interesting to see where people gather the information about what they like from what you did and everything. Like you as a musician, Tino, how often do people go, oh shit, I remember hearing you do that one song, you know? And then you sit there and you start like trying to like go, oh man, well, if you like that song, you should probably like when I do this song, or this. And this is why I keep telling you, you need to write a new theme song for our show. Because if your theme song is catchy enough, people are going to sit there and you're just going to start playing it at your shows. And people are going to be like, well, shit, where'd that song come from? Oh, well, that's the song for my show, right? And we're going to get people to buy into it, and you're going to make some scratch from it at some point. That's the whole point. So anyways, I don't know. I just, it always boggles my mind to see like where people remember you from, what they hear you doing, and all of a sudden like, well, why aren't you doing more of that? Well, I am doing more of that. You just don't know because you haven't actually been paying attention to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm talking about.
That's cool.
So Tino, I asked you a specific question, and I know that you don't want to be on too late because you got a dentist appointment tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Why do you got a dentist appointment, first of all?
I was teeth cleaning, but I try to get it before I have to go into work. You know what I mean? So I don't have to take any time off or using it, you know.
Yeah, but do you know there's something in there that you need to get cleaned out?
No, it's just a 6-month cleaning. I did it every 6 months. That free cleaning you get. You don't go to the dentist. You don't know what that is, do you?
So I'm gonna be real with you. About 3 weeks ago, I had a filling fall out.
Oh no.
And I literally have like a hole in that spot.
You need to go get that filled, dude.
I do, or I need to get it pulled. But interestingly enough, since that happened, I've been brushing my teeth twice a day. So I've been brushing my teeth more often since that happened than I've ever brushed my teeth before. Why? What's that?
Why?
Well, because I know that like if you continue to brush your teeth every day, like twice a day, then you're giving yourself less chance of having it get worse. But trust me, I know it. I know I need to get it fixed. So Chris Barrett, by the way, says, here's the real pressing question. Why does the rest of the house have to be cold after a shower?
What?
Well, I guess he's asking the tough question this week. Because you asked the tough question at the end of last week's episode, which was, by the way, for anybody that was not watching, the tough question at the end of the episode was,
why
do you take a shit
after you get out of the shower?
After you get out of the shower. So, Tino, I'm going to let you field Chris Barrett's question.
Why does the rest of the house have to be cold? I guess if you had a hot shower, you're still hot, so you have to cool off. I don't know.
You know what? You know what? I think you may be onto something, Tino. Here's the deal, folks. You typically take a hot shower, and the floor is normally cold, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you get out of the shower, you'll notice that it's steamed up on the mirror.
Yep.
But yet the floor's still cold. So to answer Chris Barrett's question, why does the rest of the house have to be cold? Well, it's typically because it's 72 degrees and the water in the shower is 140 degrees or whatever. So I think it's a pretty easy question to answer, right? Right?
Look at you, Bill Nye, science guy.
Chris Barrett also says, my God, Potsy, just get implants.
What kind of implants?
Well, he's obviously...
There you go, baby. There you go.
We're going to take that question down. We're going to put this one up instead.
A dentist.
What's that? Tino, I think you have access to this stuff too. I think you can sit there and say, you take your number 2 before you clean yourself. That way you don't get dirty again. I'm going to tell you.
But we do that. What I'm saying, but you
were talking about this last week, right?
Yeah, you shit, and then you get in the shower, and all of a sudden you got to shit again.
So I got to tell you, it happened to me today.
Oh, damn.
Like, I purposely, now, I'm going to tell you, I didn't sleep well last night, right?
Me neither.
So at like 5:30 in the morning, I sat there and I looked at my watch and I said, shit, it's 5:30 in the morning. And then I started getting the grumbly tumbly. You know what I mean? It was like that whole thing. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I got the grumbly tumbly. I can't just go back to sleep. But I was determined to go back to sleep. I was determined. So I got back to sleep. And then like an hour later, so now it was 6:10 in the morning, I got up and I was like, I'm still not getting up. I'm still not, like, I don't care how bad the grumbly tumbly is going. And then all of a sudden I was like, no.
About to have an accident.
So I pull all the covers off and I run into the bathroom and I go on ahead and I take care of myself. And it's like, that whole thing. And I get done and I'm like, I feel better, but okay. Now I got to take my shower, right? Because like we're talking about, you go, then you take the shower, right? So I go and I take the shower. And at this point, now we're closer to like when it's time to go to work. And then like 30 minutes after I start work,
Rumbly tumbly.
it's like, and I'm like, why the hell do I have like a Jello pudding pop thing going on in my stomach? Like Jello pudding pop. Like, I don't know what's going on in there.
Okay.
And I was like,
he said bubble guts.
I had the bubble guts. But it wasn't just the bubble, like it wasn't just bubble guts. It was, hey, these bubble guts are so bad that if you don't stop right now what you're doing, you ain't never gonna have bubble guts like this again.
And you're gonna have tar in your underwear.
My underwear is gonna be tarred and feathered.
You just throw them bitches away. Don't even put them in the wash machine. Don't even try to wash them. Like, nope.
And yeah, so Mr. Helios, good old Terrace is there, says bubble guts.
Chris Bear says icky tummy.
Chris Barrett also says, I saw this video on Instagram of a 911 call of a guy whose wife inserted a shampoo bottle in him.
What? Then he sneezes and you just hear a thud and he says, never mind. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Are you amazed I put that on YouTube?
I am too. Ew. Ew.
Oh, here's my favorite. Here's my favorite. Ready?
Oh, God.
So squidgy.
Wow. Oh, God. It's how we lose control of your show. That's what.
Oh, my goodness. Are you kidding? This is what makes this show so funny. I'm just upset that Katie's not following the show tonight.
She probably
messenger. Tino, I'm going to keep you about 30 minutes longer than you wanted to be. But that's it. I'm not going to keep you longer than that.
Wait. I said what time?
Well, you said like 9:30. I'm saying that you got until 10. So Chris Barrett says, so Legends Raw. And Tino, I want to specifically talk about what happened after Legends Raw.
Is that when Dumbass made his statement?
With one Mustafa Ali.
Mm-hmm.
Considering we have no idea how to say his GD name at this point, because every time we want to talk about him, they change his name.
No, they said Mustafa for a while.
Well, but now it's Mustafa.
Or Mustafa, whatever they're saying.
Mustafa. So let me ask you something. Now we've got Mustafa Ali, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have him on Raw Talk, the after show. And he sits there and he says, why the hell are we sitting there letting these legends who can barely walk be on a 3-hour episode of Raw when you have people that can sit there and put on 5-star matches? And I'm paraphrasing, by the way, but I'm paraphrasing in a way that, like, I want it known that this guy is very upset. And remember, he's supposed to be in charge of Retribution, right? So the group that's in charge of destroying what the WWE is all about so that they can get on TV, right?
Yeah.
That's what they're supposed to be, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. So he sits there and he says that. And then he also says, it's because we all really, and of course he's being sarcastic, we really need to see what you're going to do, brother, for the 700 millionth time. And then his Twitter account posted a statement that said something along the lines of, we're not sure we can give you a live mic anymore.
Oh, damn.
So how do you feel about that, Tino?
I mean, he's not wrong. The Legends Night was cool, and I get why they try to do that.
Was it cool?
It's a cool idea. I see what they're trying to do. But he's right. He's right. They got 3 hours, bro. They got 3 hours. They need to be pushing, heavier, like I was saying earlier, these younger stars, instead of, reminiscing,
Stop being a mark.
What? I'm a mark.
You know,
watch Raw.
You know I love you. You know that I love watching pro wrestling. But let's be real, bro. Hulk Hogan showing up is fine. Having Drew McIntyre sit there and say, "What you gonna do, brother?" is okay. But Melina showing up backstage for absolutely no goddamn reason.
To show off.
What now?
She was looking nice.
Well, she was looking good, but like she should have just showed up in the freaking Royal Rumble. Like
She should have worn that dress.
What was that? Or how about the whole Goldberg thing? I've already been talking about this. How is the guy sitting there trying to say that Drew McIntyre hasn't been respectful to the legends when Randy Orton was the guy as the legend killer and Drew McIntyre held up their honor?
You know?
He beat Randy Orton in that match where all the legends got their comeuppance. Yes, it as bad as it was. Drew McIntyre got his comeuppance against all of the bullshit with Randy Orton in that match. So my problem, by the way, and again, you guys will be able to read this on mainframecomiccon.com tomorrow. But my problem with it, yes, I'm sitting there just giving the hook there. But my problem with it is the fact that like Goldberg coming out saying you don't respect the legends after Drew just had a moment in the back with Hulk Hogan where he's like, what you gonna do, brother? Is basically making Goldberg the heel.
Well, maybe Goldberg doesn't consider Hogan a legend.
What?
I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know.
So Chris Barrett says, another Hogan and the Boogeyman. I want to see someone like DiBiase, Bob Backlund, Beth Phoenix, or even the APA. It's not true Legends Night without the APA.
They had Ron. He said, damn.
And you're absolutely right. Ron Simmons did show up. In fact, Legends Night seemed like a real bore compared to normal. Like they put like at in the main event match, they put two like bleachers down so all the legends who hadn't actually been talked to all night and yet for whatever reason showed up and got a payday sat there on that bench and watched as the match happened. And then after Drew McIntyre beat Keith Lee and these legends were sitting on the bench, Bill Goldberg came down and said, all those legends sitting there on the bench are disrespected by Drew McIntyre, who's been respecting all of those legends since he became champion.
So that's the only thing I can think of is they're trying, because they got to keep Drew a strong babyface. They're trying to make him heel. They're trying to do something to turn the fans against Goldberg so they can keep Drew up here.
I don't think that it's got anything to do with turning Drew, by the way. And that's what I think you were trying to say before you suddenly turned it to we're going to turn Goldberg heel.
No, they're not going to turn Drew. They're going to I say what I meant. They're going to turn. They're going to try to make Goldberg heel to keep Drew a hot babyface.
So if they do that, I don't know how they're going to do it. And here's why. And you know, maybe I ruin my article tomorrow. Maybe I don't. I don't know what the deal is. But let me put it this way. And unfortunately, now that Drew McIntyre's been diagnosed with COVID, it means he's off TV for at least 2 weeks. Does mean that as long as he heals, he'll be ready for the Royal Rumble, which is okay, which is great news if he actually heals, right? But here's where the problem is that here's a guy, Goldberg, that is a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. And he's like the most polarizing legend ever because half the wrestling industry hates the fact that he's a legend. The other half of the industry is okay with him being a legend. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So when you take that into account, now he's going up against Drew McIntyre, who was a guy who got fired for not being good enough, came back, proved he was good enough, won the Royal Rumble, beat Brock Lesnar in less than 5 minutes. For the remainder of the year, mainly won every match that he was in. I think he was the number one match-winning wrestler of the entire year because unlike most years where they have 270 matches, he had like 52 matches or whatever, and he actually won every single one of them or whatever, right? And yet somehow WWE wants us to go and think that Goldberg is sitting there saying, this guy disrespected everybody before him. Every single legend before him. Even though the very first thing that he did as the WWE champion was go up against Randy Orton, who reignited his legend killer gimmick. And we saw him downplay Christian. We saw him downplay The Big Show. We saw him downplay Ric Flair. We saw him downplay Shawn Michaels, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why in the hell would Goldberg ever walk out and sit there and say, you disrespected the legends, bro?
No idea. That's what was written.
Because that was what was written. You're not wrong, and I hate to do this, but Snoop Dogg is in the Hall of Fame, and he is the best wrestler of all.
That top rope splash he did on AEW. Oh.
Oof. David Arquette is more of a legend than Goldberg. I've never seen Goldberg even try to improve himself by learning a second move. Chris Barrett, Goldberg has at least 2 moves.
He has 2. The jackknife, excuse me, the spear into the jackknife. Not jackknife, I'm sorry,
the jackhammer.
Jackhammer.
But he also did have a
He has a submission move too, doesn't he?
He's got more than 5 moves. Goldberg is actually a very underrated pro wrestler. The thing that you and I have talked about, Tino, is that Goldberg is so underrated that like he's got those moves where 20 years ago he had those trapezius muscles that came up to here, but now he's got those trapezius muscles that come to like here, right? Am I showing that right?
One by his head, another one's still under his chin.
And it's whichever one gets people up in the jackhammer is the one that's like this big.
Okay.
It's the other one that's just gone. And you and I sat there and looked at it the very first time they brought him back, and we were like, that muscle's flattened out.
Yep.
What the hell happened to that muscle?
People resting on that shoulder when he had him up for the jackhammer.
Goldberg also has that kick that ruined Bret Hart's career.
True. True.
So let me go ahead and ask this question, Tino. Did you know that the WWE Network now shows the Stone Cold Broken Skull sessions uncensored.
Yep. And I watch them.
And how crazy is it when you all of a sudden hear that F-bomb dropped during that Stone Cold session?
I like it.
You're like, what did I just admit it? Every time it happens.
I'm looking for the sign for him to where the joke come from. Goldberg had the Sammartino trap so big he didn't have a neck.
I agree with Chris Barrett on that one. Like, until he came back, and then he only had one of the traps that was like this, and then the other one was like this, and it literally looked like it deflated.
It's like a fake boob.
What's that?
Like a fake boob. Fake.
Oh, fake. You might have to explain that story again, Tino.
No. No.
Fake.
Pop.
Go ahead and explain it. Pop.
Oh. No. Punch the nose for no reason. Barrett said that they haven't censored any AEW episodes, and he's right, because they say shit like nobody's business.
Well, I thought it was really interesting because in our wrestling group just recently, one of the folks in there sat there and said, it's pretty interesting that the WWE, who's trying to get people from 18 to 49 to watch their programming, isn't editing the episodes and isn't putting up M-rated episodes. And I made sure to let them know, oh, by the way, the Steve Austin podcast, or the Broken Skull Sessions, if you will, are definitely put up in a uncensored method. And it's pretty impressive, because when all of a sudden you hear Stone Cold Steve Austin drop the F-bomb, you're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. What? Yeah.
So Tino, I don't want to keep you too much longer. So let's go ahead and do this in 20 minutes. All right. Who won between AEW last week and NXT?
Oh, NXT.
Oh, really? Go ahead and tell me why.
Wasn't that their
New Year's Evil?
My weeks are running together.
New Year's Evil.
Oh.
New Year's Evil.
Yeah, I'm trying to think that anything good happened on AEW. I mean, AEW was good, but wrestling wise, I like what NXT's doing. I like the Rhea Ripley match was awesome. The
freaking phenomenal.
The Finn Balor versus Kyle O'Reilly match, while it wasn't, I didn't think
it was as good.
Thank you. I'm not saying it wasn't good, but it wasn't as good as the first.
Wasn't as good.
What's her name came back? I was surprised. Xia Li. I'm interested to see what they do with Xia Li and Boa. Now that they brought them back, I'm interested to see what and who the whole person is with the hair.
I don't give a shit who that person is. I give a shit about how good Xia Li gets from it, because Xia Li is a talented individual, yes. and yet was going nowhere before this move. So good job on them actually getting us talking about Xia Li, right?
Yep. And then I hate to admit it, but I'm liking the way. I'm liking Gargano's group. I'm getting a kick out of them. And I hate to say it.
It's hard not to, but Johnny Gargano is so talented that you almost feel like no matter what, you're going to get talent driving a story no matter what, right?
Yeah. Now, I'm gonna tell you my match of the night, and you're gonna be surprised, is Damian Priest and Karrion Kross.
So the opening match of the night.
That was a hard one to follow, in my opinion.
It really was. I agree with you.
Because Damian Priest showed me so much, and I like Damian Priest, but I got so much more respect because Kross was knocking the shit out of him. He kept getting up. He kept getting up.
The interesting thing was that, like, you know, the gimmick of Karrion Kross the entire time up until that was that Karrion Kross felt no pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet it really looked like Damian Priest was right there with him in all of that. Am I right?
Yes.
So I agree with you. Like I was blown away. I loved the fact that they took our suggestion there, Tino, and decided to go no commercials for that match. Like, that match did not need, we're gonna go like picture-in-picture bullshit. That's garbage. In fact, if you looked, the only match that they really did that with that they shouldn't have,
the women's match,
was the women's match. And I'll tell you, the best match of the night was the women's match. That not even falls count anywhere. It was a last woman standing match between Raquel Rodriguez and Rhea Ripley.
And like Kross and Priest, they beat the shit out of each other.
They did, but I'll tell you, Tino, what made this match special was the fact that, like, for the past 2 weeks, they had taken every video that those two women had ever been in with together.
Yes.
And made a story that was not only logical, but it was fulfilled. And you realize that one of them was much, much, much more completely against the other one, because she was just so jealous of the situation that it made the entire thing make sense. And then on top of that, while we're going to get to, we got, I would say 15 minutes left before I say you can go home and go to bed. It makes you realize that one of these ladies is showing up in the Royal Rumble.
Rhea, and yeah, I think that was her last. I think that was her last Raw. I hated that she would go out on a loss, but I guess it makes sense.
But that's what you do in the industry. When you get called up, you go and you leave yourself on your sword. That's what you do.
Well, she's kind of passing the torch to.
That's what I'm saying.
For another, they're both. I mean, when I say big, I mean like tall, solid. Like, she passed the torch. Okay, you can be the next.
You're not wrong. And in fact, let's break this down. When you are the number one name in the what do they call it? The developmental. There you go. When you're the number one name in the developmental and you've done everything you possibly can and you know you're getting called up, what's the last thing you could possibly do? You put over your best friend, right? And it's not even necessarily your best friend. You put over the next big thing.
Yes.
That's what you do. And that's what Rhea Ripley did. And in fact, that's what Rhea Ripley's been doing since she lost to Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. Like, I hope, and I'm saying this right now, Tino, and it's January 11th, 2021, and I'm saying right now, 20 days before it happens, I hope to God that Rhea Ripley not only shows up in the Royal Rumble, but she wrecks shop. She wins the Royal Rumble, and she goes up against Asuka at WrestleMania, and she beats her. Because that's what is owed to her after winning the NXT Championship last year, going to WrestleMania against Charlotte, and then getting punked out because Vince McMahon sits there and wanted to be a bullshit artist rather than giving the fans what they wanted, which was Rhea Ripley is the next big thing,
Yeah.
and giving her that. Am I wrong?
No, but like you said, when Vince, he's got his favorites. He's got his. He doesn't think that the NXT, like I've said, and I said it last week.
He still doesn't think that Asuka needs to be the women's champion on Raw. That's why it's no longer focused on.
I just hope, and I say this every time, I hope when she gets called up, they use her wisely and she doesn't get lost in the shuffle.
She's too good. God damn it, man.
Well, Asuka is too, and she got lost for a while.
She did, but and I would still say that Asuka still is lost.
Yes.
And the interesting thing the
only two that made it, that he's doing something with, and I don't know why. Well, I take that back because they are good too. It's Sasha and Bayley. Well,
and here's where I have a problem with that. You and I saw it last week, and I'm glad you brought it up because I got a real problem with this.
Okay.
Is that how and can I go ahead and drop the F-bomb?
Yeah, go ahead.
How in the fuck does Sasha Banks come across as the number one superstar in all of professional wrestling when Bayley held the goddamn title for 10 fucking months?
No, Bayley's number one on some wrestling.
No.
Did you watch the Stone Cold?
Sports Illustrated
No.
gave Sasha Banks the number one, and I'm talking over Drew McIntyre. I'm talking over John Moxley. I'm talking over every goddamn person out there. Sports Illustrated decided that they wanted to just go, hey, we're just going to sit there and blah, 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 because they went with Sasha Banks.
I can tell you why.
Because she's the most attractive?
No, because her cousin is the best wrestler of all time. Her cousin is Snoop Dogg. I went back to tease. No, okay. What is this? We're talking about. I think that's back when we were talking about Drew. I'm not Drew. Goldberg. He only has like 2 moves.
No. Des Desolate is my former assistant manager at GameStop, by the way. Chris. And he say elbow cough. I'm putting it up there because I got to be real with you. The fact that anybody would sit there and say that Sasha Banks, during a year where she knew she took the back seat for 10 out of 12 months, and telling her that she was the best wrestler of the year is fucking garbage.
Yeah, I don't know where they got that from either, honestly.
No, it's just hot garbage. It's straight up bullshit hot garbage, Tino. And the reason why is because here's Bayley, who you know as well as I do, didn't think that her heel character was ever going to catch on and thought she was done, right? We knew that after she did everything she could to be the John Cena of NXT, when she decided, all right, I'm never gonna get over the same way that I did in NXT in WWE proper, SmackDown, Raw, whatever. I'm willing to go ahead and Karen myself out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet somehow some stupid bullshit artist at Sports Illustrated decided Sasha Banks was still better. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, be real with me. Are you kidding me? Did you think that Sasha Banks was any better?
No.
Like,
I didn't know she got voted #1 wrestler in Sports Illustrated.
she got voted better than like Eddie Kingston. She got voted better than John Moxley. She got voted better than Kenny Omega.
But she's not just best female, best wrestler.
Best wrestler. And if anything, the only one that I would sit there and like, just between you and me, I would sit there and say all of them were better wrestlers this year than Sasha Banks.
But they weren't on The Mandalorian.
Well, you're right, they weren't. But Bill Burr was, and he got voted off of Saturday Night Live. But at the same time, Tino, and by the way, good call there, because I bet that's why. I bet that's why. But she never, ever, ever deserved to be above Bayley in terms of the best female or any. If you're going to say that Sasha was the best wrestler of the year, you can't say that Bayley wasn't better than her.
Bayley.
You can't. What's up?
No, I'm saying Bayley was better. Bayley, best wrestler. I don't see it.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't see that.
I had a problem with it. I had a problem with all of that. I still have a problem with all of that. I feel like the industry is really sitting there trying to say, whoa, hold on a second. We're only going to take the top names and we're going to say who's the best out of those. And because Sasha had the belt at the end of the year, she deserves to be the #1 wrestler at the end of the year, which is bullshit. And I'll tell you why it's bullshit, Tino. Because Bayley was the champion for 380 plus days. Now, most of those days happened in 2020. And she beat Sasha in some of those matches.
Yeah, I don't get where they got that from.
They got that from the fact that they're just assholes that want to sit there and say, oh, Sasha's the champion at the end of the year, so she's the best. All I'll say to that is Sports Illustrated go suck their own ass and fuck themselves.
They probably don't watch wrestling either, so there you go.
Well, no, they literally at this point. Now, granted, when we were growing up, they don't have anybody that did watch pro wrestling, but now they have at least one person that does. And the reason why is because there's more going on in pro wrestling than there is in actual sports.
Right now there is, yes.
Exactly. So, but you know what? I think I've talked enough about that. And I know that you want to go to bed soon. So I want to go ahead and say you agree that NXT was a better show last week. Was there anything from AEW that you actually were impressed by or enjoyed?
I'm trying to think of everything that happened.
Now, I do want to point out.
I like the Sheeta. I like that match simply because that chick freaked me out. And
Abaddon.
Yeah.
I do want to point out that I did not put Tino up to just being an NXT mark this week. I did not make you just an NXT mark this week.
No, because I'm trying to think of, because Sting was back. Yay.
Same thing, though. Nothing happened.
I do like the match. I'm interested to see the match with Chuck T and Rusev. I keep wanting to call him Rusev. And if Chuck T loses, he's got to be his young boy. So that's going to be interesting, which he's going to lose.
So we know what's going to happen. Yep.
And then the other match that I want to see is the Marco stunt, just to see. He's going to get killed, but just because I think he's going to get killed, I think him and Jungle Boy would probably pull it off over FTR somehow.
Okay. Now, at the same time, you just said that you expect that one of those matches you were like, I just expect it to be this
well, the Chuck T.
Yeah. Now, if you were to have to give a percentage of Chuck T has this much of a percentage of winning, what's his percent of winning against Miro?
Without any interference, because Orange Cassidy. So I mean, with Orange Cassidy, he'll have he's not going to win, but it has a higher chance of hanging in there longer, I would say, because Miro's going to eat him.
So if you were to say, hey, this guy has a 12% chance of winning this match, is that what you're thinking?
I give him 30. I'll be nice. Give him 30.
30% chance. So Chucky T has a 30% chance, and I love the fact that Miro was like, are you saying that you'll be my young boy if you? And he's like, yeah, whatever moves this match along. and the whole time I'm sitting there going, yeah, Chucky T is going to be a young boy.
I'm still trying to figure out Sting's relationship with Darby Allin.
Well, is he Darby Allin is his young boy.
Oh God!
I mean, right? No, I don't know. Anyways, Tino, did you watch SmackDown?
Yes.
You don't sound too happy about that.
I wasn't too happy about the show. There's only 2 highlights of that show. 2 highlights. And one of them wasn't really a highlight. I was just like, well, it had to happen. Is when the tag team titles got switched, to Dolph and Bobby. Congratulations.
Solid. Good match. Solid.
Yeah. And
2 really good wrestlers taking the titles off of the Street Profits, and in a storyline way, one of the Street Profits only had one leg, so it made sense, right?
And the highlight of it for me is your boy, God, what's his name? He ended up having to be in the gauntlet. What's his name? The manager dude that they've been backstage. He's been making all the matches. You know what I'm talking about. Adam Pearce. Now, the best part of that was I was trying to figure out how Adam Pearce is going to win this match, because you knew it was going to come down. He was going to be the last one. And when they proceeded to beat the shit out of Shinsuke, I'm like, oh, that's how that's going to work. And then he still didn't want to cover him. I'm like, and then he gets super kicked. And then he has to cover him. So now he has to face Roman Reigns for the title. Why are they doing this dumb shit? You know Adam Pearce ain't gonna win that match. So why waste their time? Why waste the time to make this match? Gonna try to build this match and then go to Royal Rumble and he get his ass kicked. That's
sorry. You ready to give me the audience here?
That.
All right. So we know that Adam Pearce is not a world title competitor, right?
Yes.
Okay. However, we know that Shinsuke Nakamura beat 5 of the 6 guys in that arena, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he did it in sizable fashion. Like, he did it as the guy who actually was the first New Japan wrestler to beat Brock Lesnar. Am I right? So if I had to guess, and I'm not working for WWE. You know that, Tino. Even though we know that they watch our show.
We're looking for a triple threat WWE.
No. I would assume that Adam Pearce will find a way before January 31st and the Royal Rumble to put himself in a match against Shinsuke Nakamura. And Shinsuke Nakamura will win that match. Because
so then Shinsuke is going to get squashed against Roman.
Will he though? Or will this be a Kofi Mania moment?
What, when is it at the Royal Rumble he'll lose it again at the next pay-per-view?
No, I'm just saying that the next time Brock Lesnar shows up, Shinsuke Nakamura will lose. And the reason why I say that is because if anybody knows the history between Shinsuke and Brock Lesnar, Shinsuke actually beat Brock Lesnar the only time that the two of them faced each other. Now, in Royal Rumble terms, Brock Lesnar looked at Shinsuke and just went whoop and threw him out of the ring. But at the same time, what's interesting about it is that this past week's SmackDown, like, all anybody wants to talk about is who won the gauntlet match, right? Which was Adam Pearce, who sat there at the beginning of the episode and said, I don't want to wrestle. I haven't wrestled in 6 years. And Tino, you and I were sitting there going, I don't even know who the fuck Adam Pearce is as a wrestler.
Well, apparently Paul Heyman did it because they call him Scrap Iron. Was it Scrap Iron Adam Pearce? I don't even know that.
Scrappy Dog.
No, I think he said Scrap Iron.
Maybe, I don't know, but it was Scrappy Dappy or some bullshit like that. But the point is that if they were, mind you, if they were to do the person in charge versus the champion match, Adam Pearce is probably the best guy to go in that match out of anybody that they've ever put in that match.
It is Scrap Iron.
Scrap Iron. Okay. I thought it was Scrappy Dog. But my point, and Tino, tell me if I'm wrong, Scrap Iron Adam Pearce is still better than putting them in the ring against any other WWE official match that has ever happened. And you and I flat out watched the John Cena versus Johnny Ace match. So this, even if it was Roman Reigns versus Adam Pearce, it's still a better match than what we got to watch at Over the Limit 2012. Am I wrong?
Yes. No, you're not wrong. No, it's a better match.
So go ahead and speak on it.
I don't know. Like I said, I just don't. I agree with you. If I won't have a problem with it if he gets in a match with Shinsuke or even Kevin Owens comes back. You know what I'm saying? That he gets in a match with Kevin Owens gets another match added out of it. But I don't see Pierce winning. And say he does win. I didn't think that he's management. So all of a sudden he's talent now too. You know, I thought they had that fine line.
You know what they need to do?
That
they need to make this match happen where it's Roman Reigns versus Adam Pearce. And then they have, what's that dude wearing the salamander pants?
Pat Buck.
They need to have Pat Buck come and help Adam Pearce. I can't.
Can I go to bed now? You're popping yourself.
They didn't have the salamander pants beat Roman Reigns. In fact, the only way Roman wins that match is by pulling Pat Buck's salamander pants off.
Nope.
Pulling them up himself.
Because, you know, look, because like AJ has almost, Pat Buck will have Mark Henry in his salamander suit standing behind it. The Salamander Twins.
The Salamander Twins.
Wonder Twin powers activate.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
A Pat Buck.
A form of Pat Buck. That's horrible. That's horrible. Like, why would anybody think that Pat Buck deserved to be there at this point?
He hadn't, because he hadn't seen him lately, so.
I guess that's true. Well, Tino, I know you have to be up at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
At least. It's probably more like 5:45, but yeah.
So I'm going to let you go ahead and take us out. And folks, thank you so much for being here. It's been a blast. What are you doing? What do you?
There's an earthquake over here. No, sorry. See, I'm getting punchy. It's time to go.
Go ahead.
You catch him on Twitter at Potcheck. You can catch me at Twitter.
Would you just do it?
At HootieFan91. You can catch the show, Potsy and Tino. We're on Facebook, the Potsy and Tino Show. And then you can catch me on Instagram at SCTino. He's Rob Potcheck on Instagram. Trying to think of all our handles. You can catch us on the YouTube.
Check out my article tomorrow on mainframecomiccon.com.
Yes, please. Also keep an eye out for Junior High Horror Strangest Thingies. I'm so excited about that thing. I can't even tell you how excited I am about that. All right, give them your Twitch and your YouTube pages.
My Twitch is twitch.tv slash twitch.tv slash Rob Potcheck. YouTube.com slash Rob Potcheck. Twitch is actually Rob Potsy Potcheck. Sorry, folks. It's one of those nights. Anyways.
As always,
the article on mainframecomiccon.com tomorrow. Be great. And Tino, I think.
One last thing I forgot. I did forget something about AEW that caught my attention. Woo!
Nope. You're going the wrong way. It's right here. It's right here. Come on. Bring it in. There you go.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Thinking.